All right, I wanted to do a quick video on how to use the random number table of random digits. And so let's look at a situation where, suppose we have a situation where we have 30 seedlings and we want to choose a random sample of 10, and we're going to use a random number table starting with line 125. And so we're going to number those seedlings, because we're doing from 50, we've got 50 numbers. We've got to go from 1 to 50, but we're going to do them as a 2-digit number. So you want to look at every value. You have to use, because 50 is a 2-digit number, you have to look at numbers 2 at a time in order to find the table. And so I'm going to use the table of random digits. You can find it in the back of the textbook. It's also in, if I find it here, it's also in the week 4 folder. In the handouts for the week is the random number table if you want to pull it up there, but it's also in whoops, that was where I wanted to be. It's also there in the back of the textbook as well. And so it says go to line 125, and we want to start looking at values 2 at a time. So there's 125, and the first 2 numbers, can I zoom in on that, make it a little bigger? I don't see a way to do that right away. So the first 2 digits are 96. We have to look at them 2 at a time. 96 is not between our 1 and 50, so I'm going to ignore it. 74 is not between 1 and 50. 61 is not. 21, so there's the first number I'm going to select for my sample is number 21. 49, that's between 1 and 50, so I'll take 49 as part of my sample. Seedling number 37 is going to be part of my sample. 82 is not big enough. There's another 37 I'm just going to ignore that repeated one. 18 would be the next chosen sample. 68, nope. 18, nope, ignore that one. 44, ignore the repeats if you get them. 23, stretch it over those 2, would be 23. 51 is too big. I don't have 19, right? So I'm going to put 19 in my sample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm up to 7. 62 is too big. 10 would be my 8th one. 33. So you kind of have to go across the aisles when you do that. 92 I don't have. Is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more. 92 is too big. 44, I've already got 44 in my sample, so I'm going to go down to the next line. 96, if you look at the first 2, then a 92, and then a 71, and a 99, and then finally a 31. 31 would be the third. So these seedlings, number 21, 49, 37, 18, 44, 23, 19, 10, 33, and 31 would be the 10 saplings, or 10 seedlings I'd select for my experiment. You can also get random numbers out of your calculator. So let me get out of here and go to my calculator. Come on. I don't have my calculator open. Yeah, it's not going to give me that. But if you want to do your calculator, it's under math. So there's a math button. And then once you select that, you got to move over a couple to PRB. PROB. I don't know if it's PROB or PRB. You want to use the arrow keys to move over to PRB. It's short for probability. And then scroll down and you want to find random int. And what you do is you give it 2 numbers. You can do 1, 50, and then when you hit the enter key, it will spit out a random number for you. It'll give you a value that is chosen at random between 1 and 50. And if you want to get fancy, You can do 1, 50, 10. It'll give you 10 numbers at once, but there might be repeats in those 10 numbers. You're probably better off in this particular situation doing 1 through 50 and just doing that until you get 10 different values that you need there, 10 different numbers in there. Of course, those will probably be different. The numbers that my calculator generates will probably be different than the numbers that your calculator generates. So it makes it a little hard to check your work on those. So that's what you're going to get there. But of course, if you're using this particular table, going to a particular line that they say and pulling off the digits, you should get the same numbers, of course, if we're pulling from the same table. But you have to look at digits 3 at a time, or you have to look at digits 2 at a time. If I'm doing 1 through 50, if I had over 100 items, I'd have to use 3 digits at a time. I'd have to look at 3 digits sequences to find values in there, and just skip over the ones you don't need. Because if you just take like do I call that a 9? Do I call it a 7? Or you're more likely to get those. They won't be equally likely. You'll be more likely to get those 9s or 7s or values that you're not using if you just look at 1 digit at a time. And how would you know? Do you call this 02, or do you call it or 27? Do you call it a 2, or do you call it a 27? So you got to look at them 2 at a time. That's the key. If you got a 2-digit total values that you're looking at, you got to look at them 2 at a time.